going to help us sell without feeling gross or sleazy and doing it in a way that will actually probably create faster results. Is that accurate?
Here's the thing that I believe, that every human being on this planet loves sales and marketing. This is the problem with all selling and why everyone teaches sales, is that they sell to the pain point. And that is reinforcing a negative, and no one wants to reinforce a negative. No one wants to actually drill into someone's pain to be like, you really feel pain though. All 6-7-figure creators have a coach. So like, there must be something to it. That's why the process is called soul resonance selling, not pain point selling. This is the problem with all selling and why everyone teaches sales.
So walk me through it then. So you're working with a client and you're working with them on their business, and right away they're thinking, Russell, I need sales. I need to pay my bills. I've got bills, right? Like, it's great that you've got 6 months or you've got a year, whatever. But like, I'm living like not paycheck to paycheck, but let's say month to month, right? And as an entrepreneur, like, we've got bills, but we also, you might be running ads or like whatever. So what's the first step in kind of getting in this mindset of, creating marketing and using marketing for good, but to also bring in revenue?
Sure.
What would you kind of say was first step would be?
Well, first I would say, well, here's what I know. Every business is set up to give you the results that you're getting right now. So whatever you are currently doing is perfectly set up to get the results that you're doing now, and you don't like that result. I can tell because you just gave me a bunch of money to fix your results. That is its own proof. Like, a lot of people want to have, like, I have a lot of friends that want to like have dinner with me, or like we go out to the movies or like do a weird thing. Nope, none of them pay for consulting. Like, we could you want to be friends with me, that's a whole different story. But you are here right now to like fix this problem. So you'll have something that is broken in your business. So Capitalist is built on the easeful joy loop. The 5th stage is what we're going to talk about with the winning axis. But the first is attunement. And so my question is, like, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? And so we do an exercise that's called Imagine If. So you've won the game, and tomorrow you could do anything. It's always banal stuff. You know what they always say? They say, I get up, I like spend some time snuggling with my cats or my dogs, or my kids. I have a long breakfast. Then I get to the news of the day or whatever. And like, then they have lunch, and then they like do, and it's boring. It's the kind of stuff that if someone told you what they were doing is real boring. And so the win condition, that we call that the win condition, that is what life feels like when you have won the game. Because the biggest problem that you have right now is you do not know what enough means. So all you know is you need more. But more means a whole lot of things. So you're doing 50 things. So now we work backwards and say, great, this is your win condition. Now, what is happening in your business that is working? And there's usually 2 or 3 things, or 0 things. And I say, great, you stop doing all those things right now. And they go, wait, I can't stop doing all of these things, aside from like paying bills or like, I say, great, you're right. You can't do it necessarily now, but you can set end dates for all of the things that aren't working, all of the projects that you've taken on, and you cannot take new things on until we figure this out. And they say, so I just stop doing everything? To which I say, is anything working? And they might say 1 or 2 things, but no one ever says 50 things.
Right.
Everyone is like, well, my newsletter's kind of converting, my da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, great. How many other things are you doing? 1 billion. You're like, great. So like, what we're going to do is we're going to like stop doing all this stuff, and we're going to focus on the things that actually are working. And then we ask, the next question I ask is, what are the things in your business that you enjoy? And this is so important, because when you enjoy something, 2 things are happening. 1, you like the activity. 2, you're getting a positive feedback loop from it, which means you're putting in effort and getting more than you're you're giving out. And the
Mhm.
higher the feedback, the more you like something, usually the bigger the feedback loop. So
Mhm.
that is why we say optimize for joy. It's not because like, even though we are like kind of hippy dippy and like woo woo, what happens is if you focus on the things that you enjoy, they tend to happen easier and you tend to get more amplification than the other things. And so if you need money now, then you need to figure out the things that are amplifying the most so that you can go make money now. Now, I want you to have a business that has like, that you never have to work again if you don't want to, or that you get to do whatever like you want in that time.
Mm.
But if you need money now, and some people actually don't need money now, but they say that they need money now. But like most people, if you say, I need money now, then we have to figure out what is the best path to money now. And what ends up happening is people have a disconnect. They say, okay, if I want money now, then I'm doing da 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 da. And I say, great, okay. Well, and what they actually say at the beginning of the call is some other set of things that they're doing. And it's like, okay, so you just named 5 things that you can do right now. We call them your magic tricks. And you're not doing any of them.
Mm.
So the key, if you want to make money, is to do one of your magic tricks. Most businesses have 2 or 3 magic tricks. What I mean by that is like a thing you can do that people go, "Wow, how did you do that?" And you
Mm.
go, "I'll tell you. I need to do it for you. I can tell you how to do it, but like you got to pay me to do that
Mm.
thing." And the 2 questions that I'll end with, because like I went on quite a rant of like 5 questions here, but the 2 things really are, what are your magic tricks and what is the last time that you've done them? And
Mm.
usually if you're not making money, either you've done your magic tricks 100 times in a row and they are now everyone knows them, or most likely you haven't done those magic tricks. You've been on some other shiny kick over here. And if you just did the magic trick, you would make money again. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
It does. And there is some digging there to do. And I think to kind of map this out then and just kind of just make sure that I'm tracking. So the biggest thing is just we're trying to figure out, number one, kind of like what I've kind of came up with from what you're digging into there is like, we're not necessarily, and I'm talking about in our business, we're not necessarily looking at like, uh, what necessarily is going to lead to money the fastest, although that would be nice. We're looking at like, what could we do that consistently would do this, but also bring us joy?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and if we're doing that, and this is what I'm gathering, is like, if we're doing that, then that positive loop of feeling good will project and actually help me to get more of it, because it's kind of happening effortlessly versus me trying to push this boulder up a hill instead of like pushing it down a little bit of an incline a lot easier. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. So I have a book called Frictionless Growth, and it's about how you push the boulder without adding undue friction.
Oh,
We
there you
all
go.
know that running a business is hard. So there's going to be like, it's a boulder. Like
Yeah.
it's not going to be a cakewalk, but like you don't want to be like, "Oh my God, why is this so hard?" I know it's going to be hard, but like, man, maybe can I get some ice? Can I push it downhill for a minute? Can I get a truck? Can I do whatever the thing is
Right.
to make it have less friction?
Mm-hmm.
And usually when you are not making money, it's because you're not doing the things that make you money, or you've done them so much that you need a new trick. That almost never happens though. The second one almost never happens because you have 3 magic tricks and no one does all 3 of them. Like you might be like, "Oh, I run a Kickstarter." I always used to be mine. Like I run a Kickstarter, I'll make 10 grand. No matter what I do, like I'll make 10 grand on that Kickstarter. And then I did like a billion Kickstarters and like people are like, "Oh, it's not working as good." But like, that doesn't mean the other magic tricks don't work. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that like taking the principles of Kickstarter and just doing a launch don't work. It's just like sometimes those principles like need to be tweaked, but I believe that because you got to this many days in your life, you know how to exist for this many days in your life, which means a lot. Like it means you know how to pay bills, and it means you know how to like hold down a job that like pays you. So it means that like you have at least you know how to put on your pants and like clothes and whatever like there's so many things that we know how to do. But what happens is we forget all of that stuff and we're just like, oh, I've got to do these new things that are new. And you're like, but like people got to know how to put on pants, dude. Like, oh, people always got to know how to put on pants. Like, there's always a way to like use the skills that you have, even if you have to modify it slightly.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. So I'm looking at this like let's pretend we're talking to a business owner right now, coach, consultant, service provider, and let's just say they're high ticket, and things have worked, but maybe things have changed now because we have AI. You know, we have a lot of content slop out there. You know, we have, we're not trusting people as much now because that's kind of like, we don't know, is it AI? I don't know. It might be a clone. You can clone yourself now. It looks pretty damn good, right? We have all of these things. So to your point, the magic trick, right, it used to work, but everybody now knows it because you've done it 100 times or 1,000 times, but also technology or things, people have become aware of these certain things. Webinars used to do really well in the day. They don't work as well as they used to. Why? Because everybody knows the magic trick, right? Everybody knows, Russell Brunson's made it public. He's sold thousands of courses and books and all that stuff. So speaking to someone that is somewhat successful, wanting to still grow their business, things have changed. How does this apply to them?
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you a great example for clones. I have a clone because I said people are going to put my work into Chat GPT or whatever anyway. I might as well get paid for it. And so like sometimes it's like getting into people pay like $30 a month to access my bot. And like some people probably still put my book into Chat GPT. But what I did recently was that platform that I told you about, I made it callable by Claude. So like if you use Claude, like you just call it from Claude and it has all of my frameworks and everything in it. So sometimes we have to turn into the skid. So I work with a lot of authors and they're like, everyone's stealing my books. And I'm like, okay, well, like, why don't you put your books up on pirate sites? Then at least it travels back to you. Like the actions that people are taking, you can use to your advantage instead of like fighting against these. Like human nature is human nature, both in the good ways and the bad ways. So what tends to happen so when you think of, I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible. Okay. So lots of people take Russell Brunson's strategy and they just do every slide like Russell Brunson did the slide, and they never learn the trick. Like Russell Brunson many, many years ago said one product, 1,000 inroads. And people still don't do 1,000 inroads. They're like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to like do this. Like they take the end point and they don't ever point back to the one product that like is supposed to grow. And like, if you're living paycheck to paycheck or month to month, like, and you've been doing this semi-successfully, why? Like, why? Like, there's got to be a reason why, like, you keep doing this. And usually it's because you're caught in, can I curse on this show?
Yeah, sure.
Your own bullshit. You're caught in your own bullshit. And all of us, the secret to what would the next step on this thing is knowing that people are constantly caught in their own bullshit. But the secret to the last step is that you're also caught in your own bullshit. So like you have to be like, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm not growing anymore. I'm not where I want to be. And I say, dude, why? Why though? Like, is it because you don't know what enough means? Because that's sometimes people are like, oh, yeah. Is it because, like, you need to make more in order to do this stuff you hate than to do this stuff you actually like? Or, like, is it to support your team? Well, the team, like, why did you grow your team that big? I don't know. Like, these are all, like, problems that have like a solution, but we have to know what our bullshit is. And so that's real. The reason we do the win condition first is because I say, okay, great. You could have that now. And they go, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, all you want to do is wake up, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, read the paper, and like do some writing. Like, you could do that. You have enough. I know how much revenue you make because you shared it with me. Like, why are you not doing this thing now? And they're like, oh, I can't do this. And I'm like, well, why not? Because the thing that I say the most in coaching is, I don't believe you. Or that doesn't make sense. Or is that true though? Because it doesn't. We think so. Humans buy on emotions, but then they logic their answer in, and so people think they have all these logical reasons for why things happen, but they don't, because the mind is dumb and the body is dumb. But like, all it wants you to do is trick you into all of your decisions make sense. But almost none of our decisions make sense. And once we know that, or we say, oh, yeah, I guess that doesn't make sense, does it? You're like, no, it doesn't make sense if you make $5 million a year that you should not be able to live whatever life you have. Even if all you did was cut everything and just let that coast ride out for 1 year, you would make 1.75 times the amount of money that the average human makes in their life. Are you telling me that you can't figure out how to live on more than on what one and basically two humans make in their lifetime if you did it in 1 year? Just like doesn't make sense, dude. So yeah, that's a lot. A lot of it is just being like what you're saying is stupid. Like, if yeah.
So like, so a lot of what you're saying then is a lot of it is like just asking the questions and then kind of like pushing on the answers. Is to like, you're asking like, okay, well, why can't you do that? And then I'd give you an answer, and then you'd be like, well, why? Why can't you do it? Well, because of this. And you're like, is that true? Is that, so you're literally kind of walking through, kind of like a therapist would do in a sense, where you're just like asking a lot of questions to drill a lot deeper and get a lot deeper. So then almost you end up coming up with the solution yourself. Right. Is that accurate?
Well, it's about radical acceptance. So there's people always get radical acceptance wrong. They think by accepting, you mean that you're okay with it, but it's not. Radical acceptance is about accepting the way things are so that you can change them. And so radical acceptance comes in 3 flavors: self, other, and life. So radical acceptance of what your own bullshit is, radical acceptance of what others are actually doing, and then radical acceptance of where your life is right now and the life circumstances that are around. And what happens is we get caught in fantasy lands around one or all of those things. And so we can't see the truth. And once you see the truth, you understand what the win condition is. And then I can say, great, now we can actually start the conversation about like making you money. Like, because it's almost never about making you money. What it is about the first night we talked about attunement, is that there's a little radio dial in the side of your head, like that is currently tuned to the wrong frequency. It's like you like rap and it's tuned on country. And if you're not seeing the right opportunities, the opportunities are falling like manna from heaven constantly. So all you have to do is like tune it and be like, oh, I have this, I have that, I have this other thing. Like, I always say, when was the last time you had a conversation with one of your customers? And they go, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. You could go talk to 10 customers today. You could find your 10 best customers and schedule calls and be like, why do you like me? Like, really? Like, you have been doing that. You've been with us for 5 years. There's a lot of construction companies. Like, there's a lot of people that like teach podcast guesting. Like, you keep buying, and I'm the most expensive one. So like, why? Like, you could just like pay $300 and like learn all of this stuff. Like, you would theoretically like hire podcast gear. Like, it's like the system is learnable in like this book, but like you chose to like spend $10,000 on this program, and you're like, why?
Why? Yeah.
And like, no judgment, no shade, just like, I love that. I want to find 50 more like you. But
so what does that do for us though, Russell? So like, okay, so let's say we do that, right? You get those customers to tell you why they buy. How do I turn that into an action item? Like, what do I do with it?
Sure. Okay. Well, like, let's talk about the actual winning axis then, because like, I think we've now established that part. So this is the winning axis. The winning axis is about telling a story about the future that your most transformed customer will find in you the inevitable, only and obvious choice. So it's the future, the messy now, the blocks, objections, the dream 10, and then we're going to do life transition right now. So the first question is, what is the fulcrum? So the fulcrum of this, where you go with those conversations, is, what is the life transition that people are dealing with that are in my audience? And people buy when they are in need, when they are in chaos. They want something when they are, and the thing that they are the most likely to chaos them, predictably, is one of several life transitions. So it might be turning 30. It might be graduating college. It might be their business is like on its 5th anniversary and they're not where they want to be. It might be ennui. It might be menopause. There's all of these things that happen around the course of a life that are life transition. That's not and so to go back to what we talked about rhyming. So the most important part of this, if you can be like, oh, all of you guys found me at this time, is you can say, this is this is the life transition. This is the emotion that the life transition is in. And when does this happen? When else does this happen in life? So if, let's say, so mine is about the dark night of the soul. If you don't know, if you're not a writer, I've written 80 books. So the dark night of the soul is at the end of the end of the second act. The hero has done all the things right. They've gotten to the place you think they're going to win, and they lose everything. And they have to rebuild themselves. So where does that happen in a life? Well, it happens a lot after when you get your first job and you go, my God, this is it. It happens like when you're about to turn 40 and you're like, oh my God, I've got 20 years of this. It happens at like in your 50s and 60s when you're like, oh my God, like, it's still happening. Like, I still haven't, I'm in the last half of my life and I haven't actually done anything. And like, I need to rebuild something that actually works for me. And like, so these things rhyme across the course of a life, but the feeling in your gut is the same. And so this is what really you're trying to ask in these conversations is, okay, when you're reading my work, when you're consuming a thing from me, when you're working with me, what is the feeling that gets relieved? What is the good feeling and the bad feeling that you're going through that brings you back to me? And we use that as the fulcrum to decide all the rest of it, because it's that emotion that allows us to put our marketing and messaging and target one message to multiple kinds of people. Because while it's the same feeling, while it's the same thing that they're trying to relieve, while it's the same thing that they feel for your work, you're going to message a 20-year-old differently than a 50-year-old and a 40-year-old. So again, this is the lessons we have to learn over and over and over again. My friend Theodora Taylor calls this universal fantasies, but it's this like cycle we get stuck into. And every time we learn it, we have to relearn it again. And the things that everyone comes into, like marriage, causes all sorts of emotions. And if you don't know what emotion you're trying to relieve or elicit, then no one's going to buy the thing that you want and have the experience that they're actually going to have, because the experience is set by the product. You already set the experience. It's there. Like, so you just have to mine it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does. And I think it's like you said, it's like finding out what that emotion is, but then also the transformation is. And so like really what you're saying is like, we're trying to figure out what they want so we can actually deliver what they want. But we also want to know like, well, how did I already do this? Like right now, I don't know why you like me, why you still follow me. But if you tell me, then I'm going to know what might attract other people to me, so I can learn from that. But like what you're saying though is like different. Like I'm different than when I was at 20 years old, right? Scott at 20, Scott at 54, like completely different. And how I show up, I probably have more confidence now because I've experienced more, but it's like, I think what, like you're saying, like as we evolve, our presence,
we call it your base operating system. Like, a Mac's always a Mac. Like it's always going to be a Mac. Like you can, unless you like wipe it completely clean, which you can't do to a human. The base operating system remains a Mac your whole life. How I would modify the thing you said is not what experience should I be delivering. It's I already am delivering an experience. It is done. Like you have done it. Like you can make new products for different experiences, but like everything you have already has an experience. Like it feels a certain way. Mine is agency. When people read my work, they say, your work makes me feel like I have agency in a world that is meant to trying to take it away from me. These are like, I consistently have heard that throughout my career, that like people like my work because it's about people who take control of their destiny. And people are, so now that brings us to step 2. So the step 2, once you have the fulcrum, is you set the intention in the future. So this is the win condition. I make you do your win condition first, because now we're going to do it for your customer. This is the single most important step, and the one that everyone gets wrong. Because what they do is they say, oh, yeah, they took my program and now they own a burger joint. It's like, no one wants to own a burger joint. Like no one wants to like nobody wants to read your work. Nobody wants to take your course. What they want is the feeling that it elicits, and not even the transformation. What they want is the feeling that they get after doing the transformation. And so your win condition isn't about someone having a successful podcast. It's about being able to wake up and know that they can, for me, it's like you wake up and you know that whatever comes that day, you're going to be able to happen to the universe instead of letting the universe happen to you. So like you can take the time in the morning to like luxuriate in your coffee and do all that stuff, because like you took a bunch of stupid stuff off your schedule. The only stuff that's there, the only people that have access to you are people that like matter. And only problems you deal with are the ones that like, you can solve. So like if other problems happen, either they're not important or they're soon or they're delegated to somebody else. So you like feel confident walking through the world. That's very different from someone who wants like to wake up and feel like they're part of a warm hug. That they want to feel like their decisions matter, that they have belonging and all of that stuff. And it doesn't matter if I want belonging, if I want my work to be belonging, because it's not about belonging. It's about agency. That's the thing it's about. And like the problem with most people is they never are like, oh, my thing is about like, this is what I make people feel. This is the transformation they're actually going to get from my work. So like, I'm just going to keep saying, I want my work to appeal to X person. And I'm like, but it doesn't though. That is not the thing. It doesn't, like, you can go forward and design all of your stuff from here on out to be this other thing. I don't think you should. But like all the stuff you've done in your life is not about that. So like, you just have to abandon everything you've done. And like, I think that's dumb. Like a lot of people, how we think about marketing and sales is siloing people as a rule. They're like, oh, this person only wants my this message. This person only wants my books about potatoes. This person only wants like my blog. I'm like, what? Like, it's so dumb to put your marketing and to target your marketing about the person who's going to spend the smallest fraction of money with you. Okay, great. I don't care. This person is going to sort themselves out. I want the person who buys all the stuff. I want all of that person. I want all my marketing to be intended to that person, because that person is going to spend the most on me and cost the least to acquire. So
okay. So that's step 2. So with that being said, how are you taking that and turning that into the magnet?
Sure.
Right.
Well, like there's a bunch more steps. So like, let's go.
Okay.
So the other half of this, you've now done the transformation. And the thing here is you've never done even 10% of the work to figure out this win condition. I don't care who you are. Nobody has done 10% of the work necessary. The problem with this win condition is, do you know the most important question to sell a piece of art to someone?
Say that again.
Do you know the most important question you should ask before you sell a piece of art to somebody?
No.
Where do you want this? Where are you thinking about hanging this piece? Because the moment that your piece is on their wall, you've done 80% of the work. And this is the problem with win conditions. Someone has to be able to taste it. You have to know the emotion you're going to resolve and what you're going to do, because they have to taste it in the future. We are very bad about being kind of future us, but if we can taste it now, oh man, like we can't get it out of our heads.
You've just put it on their wall.
Yes.
And then they can see it in their living room or in their family room or dining room or wherever they're going to hang it. They can see it there hanging. And it's like, okay, now I want it. It's almost like planting that vision or that image into their own mind. You didn't have to do anything other than just say, where are you planning on hanging this piece of art?
Yeah, exactly. And
I like that.
So that you want them all day, every day to be like, oh, I do want that transformation. Like I do want that. Oh, I hate that I have to do these bills. Oh, but like John told me that I didn't have to do these bills anymore. If I just like go with them, blah, blah. Like the more they can ruminate on it, the more that win condition is real. And it's really important you do the win condition first, because the next question is what I call the messy now. The messy now is, what is the biggest transformation from where your win condition is to now? And like, it doesn't matter what, all these things do matter, but like what I want you to think about is not like where your person is now, although like that is important. It's what is the most transformative journey that someone can go on from your win condition to where they are now? Because like, that's the person who's going to be the most likely to buy from you, the most likely to be massively transformed by you. Now, there's a bunch of problems with that. One, most people that are in the middle of a messy transition are broke. But like they're also the people that are the most likely to need the thing that you want and say yes immediately if you're the right person. And what matters the most is that you chart the two ends of this spectrum, because all of your marketing is going to appear on this spectrum somewhere. Like emotion, transformation, now. What is the biggest transformative journey they can go on? And from there, we make it personal. So why are you the only person that can get them from where they are now to where in the future? This is how you make it personal. So like, you kind of like do the intro, then you chart the two ends. And then, so step 3 is, what are the things you have found in your career and in your journey that everyone else is ignoring? That does not mean that like other products are bad. It just means they're working on the wrong axis. We call this contra pitch. And it's, look, you want to go from here to here. And like, you've looked at all the other things, but like, why a Russell type thing? And it's like, well, the problem is that like when you sell creative work, you can't do pain point selling. You just can't do it. Like, it doesn't, no one needs a piece of art. Like, no one needs like a book. Like, so like, if you want to sell that thing, it doesn't work. And also it sucks. It just like doesn't feel good to do pain point selling. Even if you love selling, pain point selling makes you feel terrible. But like, we all want to actually solve that pain point. So like, if you flip it, like suddenly you're like, wow, this is like this actually feels good. I'm doing the thing I actually want to do in serving people. And you can, and also like, the problem is that everyone is selling this vision of the future. They're all pointing at the same time, trying to chaos around. And like, you can opt out of all that stuff. I can train you how to opt out of all that stuff. It's actually very easy. But you have to have a winning axis for yourself that you're going on and have other people who are listening to you. So like, do you see how that doesn't deny any other person who does sales? It doesn't deny any other program. It doesn't deny me being on anything. In fact, what it does is every person I know who doesn't sell the thing that I do or sell it in the way that I do can be like, oh, dude, like, I want to promote your thing. Come on my show. Like this, my audience needs to hear this. This is not a thing that I deal with. So those blocks are the first step in how you keep it personal. Okay. Does that answer the question that you had before, or at least start to?
Yeah. So take me, on the map here. Where are we? We're at the go. Is that where we're at, or we're at the U?
So we are at the one that says blocks right now. So we have plotted this. The one that this dot in the middle is kind of your emotional fulcrum. Then we did the transformation in the future. We did the messy now. And we've done the blocks that are unique to you, that like that like no one else has figured out that you have. Again, your magic trick, to go back to a thing that you said in the future.
Okay. So now with that, where do we go from there?
Okay. One more thing. There's one more step in this process.
Okay.
And it is objection handling. And it's part of the messy now. You can't do the objection handling before the messy now. But while you're doing this pitch, while you're setting this all thing, you have to pre-handle all the objections that someone's going to have. There are 6. There's believability, credibility, scarcity, time, value, hassle. Yes. Okay. I was like, I feel like there's another one in there. But I feel like time may not be the right one. But anyway, like, I know 5 or 6 for sure, and I'm just going to go with time. And it's important. Like, I know we both have John. We both coach with John, and he does the first 3. I do the second 3, and I was like, could I just replace these 3 things together? But I really think they're different. So, for instance, scarcity is about the lack of something. Hassle is about how much energy you spend doing something. So they feel similar, but they're not. They're like actually quite different. And credibility sounds a lot like value, but it's like not, because one is believability. One is believing you can do it. 2 is it worth the cost? And then time is, do I actually have the time to do this thing? And believability is, do I believe I should spend that time with you? So like, you can, if you only have 3 of them, I mean, both John and I have made very good businesses with just 3 of these things. But I do think like the main 6, these are the main 6 objections. With this coaching thing, time is one that you literally, if your program is going 10 to 11:30 on Mondays and Thursdays, and someone can't make it, what are you gonna do? Well, like, you can either be like, well, sorry, guy, what about October? Or you can be like, okay, well, like, what if you just want the replays? I'll just do the replays with you. Or like, hey, do you want to like do private coaching? We do private coaching on your schedule, and we'll just set it all now. Like, it's the same cost either way. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter to me what we do. And I'm going to go through roughly the same stuff each time. It's just like, how much focused attention do you want?
Yeah. I think that's important. I think one thing, I guess the question that I have and a lot of people will probably have is like, how are you finding those? And then how are you getting them to admit why? Is it you're coming out and asking them? I'm thinking of like a serve call. Like we've both done them, right? You get to a point, you present, no, not even the price, the offer. You ask, hey, you want to hear about my thing? Yes, I do. Cool. Here's what it is. You give it to them. And then you're like, does that sound like something you'd be interested in? Right. That's kind of like the thing. How are you finding that? Are you asking them if they don't have an answer to get these? Because I think getting these, sometimes people don't want to admit why they don't want to do it, or they come up with an excuse or an objection of the reason why they can't do it right now.
Sure. So I do two things. One is I do ask, and two, I remove that objection. So we talked last time about like, oh, a money objection. Well, like I'll just let you pay afterwards. Then you don't have a money objection. Then we just have a temporal problem. And like, but if you don't have that problem, then like you have another problem. It's like you don't like some people just don't like group coaching. Some people think group coaching is like cheap. Some people think that like they don't want to show up with other people in a group. It's all sorts of things that it could be. And if you remove the objection, then suddenly you're like, well, what now? What's your excuse now? Like, is it hassle? Like, it can't be believability. It can't be credibility because you're on this stupid call with me.
It's
like,
true. Yeah.
Like, so it's like, you've already probably gotten over the credibility issue.
Yep.
So like the scarcity is another one that's like, I'm only doing it for X time. Like either it's scarce or it's not. Like, I don't want you to add more scarcity if it doesn't in there. But like, usually you can be like, I don't know, I'm only doing it for 2 weeks. Like, get on the call or don't get on the call. You know, a lot of people were like dithering about getting on the call or not. And I was like, when someone that you trust offers you free coaching, you should just do it. Right. And like, if they offer you something at the end of it, just like say, no, thank you. Right. I mean, we're adult humans. Just like, I don't expect everyone to say yes. Just like, yes, I'm going to teach. Yes, I'm going to sell you something. No, I'm not going to sell it to you unless like I think it's a good idea. And so I am a particularly forthright human, and I'm a particularly passionate and energetic human, and I get a lot of people excited. Like that's my superpower. But like my wife is very calm and like reassuring, and like she's like, and she can be much more like, tell me what you actually said. Like she can, whereas I have to say, dude, I know that's not true. So this is where I don't believe you. Makes sense. Like, does it, like, that's where in John's methodology, you come back to that thing and say, okay, well, like if I can fix this issue, like, are you in?
Yeah.
And my version of that is just like, come on, dude. I don't care. Like, you have to understand that, like, I'm retired. Like this, when I say my win condition, this right now is my win condition. Like, this is winning. I won the game, and I'm like here talking and hanging out with you. And like, if you are on a call with me, you do not have your win condition. Actually, some people do, but those are my friends. Like, they're not like, no one's on a coaching. No one sits on a free serve call if they don't have a big problem. Because like, I don't care how much you value my time. You certainly value your time enough to not sit on something we don't think that it's. So like, let's just like talk about brass tacks. Like, is it money? Like, it can't be like, and honestly, the number one is believability, not of me, that you can actually do it, which is one of the reasons why I say, okay, I'll invest in you first. You've been a long time since you've been invested in yourself. Maybe you've never invested in it. So like, I'll invest in you. I'll let you pay me the deposit. I'll let you pay the rest on the balance. And if you don't think it's worth it, then I'll just like cancel the invoice. That was one of the reasons why I did it, because like, it's not about you believing. It's about them believing in themselves. And credibility is about whether they believe you. And I think that the more consultative you can be. So during the call, you know, this old sales technique is like little yeses mean to a big yes. I think John talks about it in his work.
Mm-hmm.
So the more times they can say, but you told me, you already told me that like you want this thing. So is it that you don't believe me? Is it that like you don't believe you? Is it like because you don't have money now? Like, what are the conditions that you could get money to like have it? And like, what is the time horizon? And like, do you think you're really going? So one person was like, I'm waiting on a grant. And I'm like, what happens if you don't get that grant? They're like, same as usual. And I'm like, it's dumb. It's stupid. Like your business is not working and you're waiting for a magical grant. This is where things happen to you instead of happening to the universe. Like like most people that the universe happen to them, but like I want you to happen to the universe. In fact, one of our mantras in Capital is this: I happen to the universe, instead of the other way around. Like you. So anyway, so
yeah, I think that's it. I think that's interesting. I think this is a great conversation on even just this part of it, because I think serve calls, as we've been calling them, because of John Meese, who technically kind of redid a sales call, right? Or discovery calls, or whatever you want to name it, right?
Right.
And I do like that. I'm still getting used to this model as far as serve calls. And I literally just got off one the other day. And as you were kind of saying this, I was kind of trying to apply it. Like, how could I handle this without actually like pushing though, right? Like, I don't want to be a pushy person because I don't like to be pushed. I don't want to feel like you're guilting me or you're making me feel bad about my situation. So I'm trying to figure out like, what is that? So there was two that came up. One was, Scott, really love you and Scotty and what you guys do. And I would love to be part of this program. I love what you guys do. Just right now, finances just really isn't the right time for me and my family, and the timing. It's just a bad time. That time is bad. Right. So
sure. Not to which I would say, like, okay, so let's put the one aside and we'll just deal with the timing issue for a moment. Like, is it that you can't show up at 9 at this time? Or is it because the money situation means the timing is bad because you have another problem on top of that?
So the way I read it was timing, because maybe the kids are getting back to school or whatever, right? Like, it's just that timing was off. But then the financial part was off. But I have a hunch that if the financial thing was fixed, the other thing wouldn't have been an issue. I think it almost offsets it in that person's mind, because they're like, well, it's not just finances, but I do want to be honest with you, it is, you know? And then the other one I thought was interesting was, and this wasn't from her, this was from another person that said, I really want to do it, but I'm thinking maybe I should wait until I start making some money.
Sure.
You ever hear that one before?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So what is your plan? Like, what does making money mean to you?
Yeah.
Like, is it $5? Is it $1,000? Is it $50,000?
No, if I could get my first client one-on-one, or maybe I'll take that back. I'm already doing one-on-ones, but if I could start doing like a group program where I could generate more, probably if I can make my first 3,000 or 4,000, then I could see that I could probably invest in this.
Okay. So how are you planning to so your goal is to make $4,000.
Yes.
What are your
let's just say yes.
Like additional on top of that the revenue you have now, or instead of?
Well, no, if I could just get that money in the door, then it would be almost like offsetting the cost of the investment in what you're charging.
Sure. Okay. So we already agreed at the beginning of this call that the things you're doing aren't getting you where you want to go.
True.
So do you believe that like this is the way to get you where you want to go?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, you've pointed out a lot of great things and things that I need to work on, and I definitely think you could help me.
Okay. So question. Do you think you're going to get to that $3,000, $4,000 without some intervention?
That's a great question. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm going to keep trying.
Sure. Okay. But we talked again. You said it, not me. You said you just, and again, reiterated, like you can't get there on your own. The things that you're doing are broken, and the things that you're trying aren't working, and you're sick. So again, I actually don't care if you get this program or not. Like, this is not about me. I'm retired. So like, I'm doing this because I enjoy doing this thing. And I don't believe you because you haven't done like like if it worked, it would be working. It's not working. So you need, it's like if your carburetor's off, you've got to take it to a mechanic. If I'm not the right mechanic for you, that's fine. Like I know some very great mechanics, but if I am the great mechanic, we have a temporal problem then because I know what's going to happen at the end of this course. You don't. So like I need to get you can only get you've agreed that the only way through is through this course and you have to take this program in order to get that thing. So like, what are you going to do? Like you're not a time witch.
Yeah. So you're basically just trying to handle those as they come. And
no, I would have already said you agree. Like I would have said from the calls that you do at the beginning, if you're not doing these calls, like assuming you're doing these calls, you just know, because I did a lot of conferences. Like I know like what people. So I would be like, look, you know, we would do. So you do the first part and it's like, okay, what's on your mind? People go, you know, my business is failing and I'm not making any money. And you're like, okay, cool. Like, what have you tried? That's the what have you tried? What have you tried? Okay, that's a lot of stuff. Tried a lot of stuff and none of that stuff's working. Well, like this worked, that worked. Why aren't you doing those things then? Well, you know, I tried it for 3 months and then I didn't. It's like, okay, so like and most of the time at this point I say, oh, so it sounds like you let the universe happen to you and you're sick of letting the universe happen to you. You want to happen to the universe. And they're like, yeah, I mean, that would be great. I just don't know how to do it. And that's so like, those are most of my.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I say something like, most people come to my work and they like from this one of these things. And like, actually how I did the coach specifically on the coaching, I'll say, can I tell you how I failed creators for the last 15 years?
Yeah.
And they go, sure. I go, okay. So like I've trained strategies. I've trained tactics, Kickstarter, Substack, but I've never talked about how all of these things come together in this like big, in the center. This is how you like handle the like, well, like this is because all of the people that I talk to for decades have said the same thing. Like I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I feel like I have to do everything, like nothing, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Like there's like 10 things, and they usually boil down to like one of the 6 things. It's never about credibility with me because I'm very annoying to the wrong people. They flee. I'm not like they not want to stick around for a long time. So I have the reason why I talk the way that I do, I've developed this like way of talking on podcasts like this one, is because I'm trying to make you make a decision. I don't actually care if you join this program or not. What I care about is that you make a decision. And if you can make a decision that says no, most people will. So here's the biggest thing about like close rates. Even at 50%, half of people are going to say no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So like if a bunch of people say no, then you're just closer to a yes. And instead of beating ourselves up over like those people that say no, or that person, it's like, you know, I just can be more was I as consultative as I could be on this call? Did I really paint the future? Because if I really painted the future and I really came down, so there's 4 ways to teach. It's aspirational, inspirational, relatable, and educational. And if you do the winning axis right, you get all 4. You get the aspirational, where you're going to go, who you could be. You get the relatable, where you are now. You get the educational, the blocks. Then you get the inspirational, as like overcoming all the objection. So if you do all of those, you've done all 4 coaching things, coaching modalities that like get people off the fence.
Mm.
And at that point, you can handle objections, one thing or another, or like blah, 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 blah. You can if you know your objection is money, then you can always say, that's the sixth one. It's money. It's not time. It's money. Then you can be like, look, I know we're all broke. People are freaking taking loans out on their house to buy groceries. But I also know that fishmongers in the 1300s could build a business. I know that there's 5-year-olds selling Girl Scout cookies and selling thousands of boxes. So like, this is not rocket science. It's also not something that magically you have existed in the last 20 years. Like a 5-year-old in the 1300s could sell fish. So you have to be able to. And I don't care if it's with me. I think you'd be a great fit for this program. But if if you don't believe me, then I'm sorry, my love, but like, that's a you problem.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think though, that's another thing that it comes down to. And there was one lady that I talked to the other day who she may join. Really great lady. I believe in what she's doing. And I don't know if she believes in herself because she's already tried several other coaching experiences that weren't good. And now I think, and not even that they weren't good. They weren't good enough to get her to actually take the action.
Sure.
And so because of that, I think now she's doubting, will I actually fulfill on this one? Or am I going to have to tell my husband I bought another program that I didn't do?
Oh, I have a great answer to this. Like, so my role as the coach of this group, the reason I like group coaching is like, it's going to happen. And once you have 5 people or 3 people or whatever, it's going to happen. So like, you just got to like get the rest of the people. So it's like, okay, so my role is not to sell out this coaching program. Actually, what it is to find the right group of 10 people and put them into the alchemical mix. So like, they have the most transformative experience. And actually, like, all we are at the end of the day is like an experience curator. No matter what you do, you're like curating experience for your people. So my question is, if that person takes the class and hates it, gets nothing out of it, what do you do? I would say, I'll just refund your money. Like if you don't, I don't want to take your money. I want you to invest in yourself. So if that is true, then like, what is just tell me you hate it. If you need more help during the program, just tell me. I'll do a coaching call with you. It's like, what I want is the right alchemical 10 people in this program that are going to make the group program work. Because if a group program isn't a group, like a group program doesn't need to be a group program if it doesn't matter who's in it. The part of the group program that makes it transformational is the mix of the people. True.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think we've covered a ton. So, I mean, we could go on a whole, a little side quest there on the like how to handle objections and like, sales calls, serve calls, like making that a better experience, but also learning from it. And not taking it personal, I think too, is like when we're on these calls and we're like, wait, man, they were such a great fit. And I thought like everything I offered them was exactly what they wanted. But we have to also know that there's some inner things that we don't have control over on them that, it's not reflective of us. But I also think that I don't give up on those people because those people could come back another time.
Yes, but here's the thing. I never want you to end a call with that question. If someone is not, you're like, I don't understand. You're a great fit. Why are you not doing this thing? Like you should never end a call with somebody having that question. That is like the only failure state of doing a call. Is if you end and you're like, wait, why did that happen? And look, sometimes you're going to not know. So like sometimes you'll forget, or like I did 7 calls in a day, but I never want you to end with that question. You should always be like, this is what they said. And is that what I believe? And if you don't believe them, then be like, look, no offense. I love you. You can hang up this call at any time, but like, I just don't believe you. Like, what is it
Right.
really? Like, we call this getting wired in Capitalist, which is WHY, ask the 5 whys. Like, why? Like, why though? I don't care if you're doing, people have to really believe that you're not just trying to sell them though, that you're actually trying to be like, look, I just don't get it. I'm trying to sell this call. I'm trying to create this group program. And like, for my own edification, like you've said no, whatever. But like, I don't want other people to get in the same situation as you. And I want to make sure that I'm giving them and you. So like, for my own, just to help everyone else out. Could you just like, what is it really though? What's it really?
To try to get to the root of it, to actually have them take their guard down. And I think, again, it's a tricky thing. Is you don't want someone to feel shamed or feel like bad about themselves. But to your point, if we've got a good enough relationship, I'm asking so I can understand where you're coming from, so I can then help you, but then also help others. Right. I think positioning it that way would be really good.
Yeah. And they might say, no, I'm not going to tell you. But this is another way that pre-handling objections work. Like, if you've done the messy now, right, then you know their place. You're like, oh, well, like, but like, you're here, right? Like, I've seen this 1,000 times before. So like, you're here, right? And like, this is the thing. So like, is it just like the hassle of doing this group program? Like, is it because like, I know almost everyone that says no has never invested in themselves before. By that, I mean, they have invested in their business. They have invested in their projects. They've invested in outside forces, but they have never invested in their own knowledge base. And so, and like, that's just, as creators, like we learn techniques, we learn all these things about like how to write better or paint better, blah, but like, we don't actually invest in us. And so why would we be where we want to be if no one is investing in themselves? And the people that succeed are all investing in themselves. And like, even like all 7-figure creators have a coach. So like, there must be something to it. Like, they're not just going to waste money.
Russell, thank you so much, man. That was awesome. And how can people learn more about you and kind of what you're doing and kind of join in on your crusade?
Sure. It's just capitalist.com. It's like capitalist, but with an H. We have an app. We have a tarot deck that you can get on our site, and a whole lot more. But yeah, I mean, it's all about business clarity for chaos-minded creators. So if you are chaos-minded, want to do a lot of different stuff, then like, Capitalist might be the place for you.
Awesome. Russell, thank you once again. This has been awesome. And we'll be in touch.